Oh no!
Thank
Boo! Boo!
you for letting us know that I didn't turn the mics on. That's cool.
Oh,
So,
Thank you, Greg.
yeah, this is the 11th hour, episode 2. There might be some horrible deaths and dismemberment this evening. Because I promised the first adventure. I don't know. Might have to break my promise.
ah!
Oh,
That's right,
It's
Avery
fine.
drink. You might need it. So, it's the start of a Cthulhu night. And that means that the characters get to roll luck because they made it through their first session, which means that luck has been with them. And
We haven't died yet.
they haven't died yet. And since they're all dressed up and looking fabulous, instead of rolling a d6, we're going to roll a d10 to see how much luck you get.
Oh,
Ooh.
right.
gee, thanks.
All right.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, bummer.
Who rolled
I'm
the
gonna get
2?
1.
Me.
Aww.
It's
Oh.
okay. I understood what I was undertaking.
I'll
Oh,
take
that's
it.
not what I meant to do.
6 for me, boys.
Yeah.
Well done.
Avery gets 9. Jillian gets 6. Yori gets
Nice.
4.
I get 4.
Poor Patty, only 2.
Yeah.
But still, you're feeling lucky.
You
made
know,
it.
luckier.
Luckier,
A little.
exactly.
A little.
All right, so our last session left off, we had just had a riveting conversation with the professors from Miskatonic University, Dr. Adelson and Dr. Conrad Miller, which Gussie and Patty were discussing whether they were going to talk to him, see if he is in the family tree. And
We feel like we would have heard of him sooner.
yeah,
Honestly,
Dr.
I'm sure somebody would
Jeremy
brag about
Manson.
it.
And they had offered to loan you one of their Model T sedans so that you could drive to Coldwater Falls if you didn't have a vehicle already here, and if you didn't want to take the Aylesbury bus.
Less enjoyable.
Oh, definitely. The bus,
I'm
bus
assuming the
is-
butler just left us, that he's just gone.
who?
Did he leave or did he wait? Did he keep the meter running? What's his deal?
Yes, he's,
He's still there.
yeah, Reggie is still there. He's waiting outside for you, but he's not gonna take you all the way to Coldwater Falls.
Okay. Understood.
Mm.
Do we have a vehicle? Oh, well, we
Yeah.
do.
Yes.
Right?
We're borrowing
Miskatonic
the.
University is willing to let you have one of their Model T sedans to drive out to Coldwater Falls.
Very kind of them.
It's going to be their loss.
A little cheap, not giving us a driver, but
Oh, well, I'm sure we can handle ourselves.
Sorry, I'm just dwelling deep about a dog man.
I mean, I've been in stranger pictures.
Yes, so Professor Manson suggests if you leave now, you should arrive around late afternoon, or you could get a start early in the morning and be there shortly after lunch, I would think.
do we have any business remaining to attend to?
I've got some luggage I'd like to retrieve.
Honestly, that's probably a good idea.
Yes, honestly. I've got one or two things I wouldn't mind picking up.
I think I will stay at the university for a bit. I might want to talk to some professors or any other scientists, hopefully a psychologist. Or
Sure.
or a zoologist, you know.
Darling, you have a good time talking to boring men in a quiet room. I'm gonna go pick up a bag.
Okay.
Just keep yourself safe, all right?
Of course.
So, Yori, you're here at the university. Who did you want to go find?
I think I want to. Actually, what do you?
So
I'm
I
thinking
mean,
of
Professor Manson, Dr. Manson, he is the professor of abnormal psychology.
All right. I think I will do that. I would like to talk to the.
He's the one that is kind of was leading the meeting. So you're more than welcome to stay around and come talk to him after everyone else leaves.
All right. Okay, so after everyone else leaves, I will walk up to Manson. Manson or Mason?
Manson,
I should
Dr.
take my
Jeremy
notes.
Manson.
All right. Okay. So Yori will, as the other three go do their thing, Yori will go to Dr. Jeremy Manson and ask, what do you think could have possibly caused this uh, behavior?
Well, I'm quite excited to find out about what's kind of triggers and were present in this man's life that would push him to choose to become a wolf in his own mind. And I must say, I'm really excited to see what you come up with from a scientific perspective as to what was present in his life that would push him not just a psychotic break, but a break that leads him to believe he is a wolf. It is, and I will be pushing with all the effort I can to make sure that if any of the beds come up at Arkham Asylum here in town, that that bed is saved for our man there, Harlan Dupree, and so that he can come here and we can continue to observe him through his treatment. My sincerest hope is that we can help him through whatever the trauma was and allow him to come forth and be himself again. A break of this magnitude, we have to be honest and just accept that it may never happen. And yet, this is quite exciting. From a scientific, the humanity and the loss of the humanity is quite traumatic and sad, but I don't want to sound too exuberant. I mean, that this is a man, but from a scientific perspective, this is breathtaking.
It is quite interesting. Certainly, I will look into it. I am worried, though, that there might be human biological factors that I'm not well equipped to handle, as I do not study human anatomy.
Well, you've received the classical training,
I have.
so
It might be adequate
yes,
for
we
this.
we apply we observe, we document, we form our hypothesis, we test it, we observe and we document and we continue. And in this situation, it is no different than a strange plant form that you are not familiar with. This is a strange psychological reaction to some stimulus. And now
You've heard about this plant form. I suppose you were told.
Oh, quite. Mr. Marks loves to show that as a party favor.
Interesting choice of display. But one last thing, Dr. Manson. Do you have any advice for, in case we do encounter this wolf man, how do you handle somebody in the middle of a psychosis.
Well, he's in a jail cell, and the sheriff will keep you protected from him. Unless there is some reason, to believe that he is ready for transport, I can't believe the sheriff is going to let him out of the cell. Although, what I can do, I can get you one sedative, so that in case there's a need, we can get you a sedative that you should be able to inject that should keep a 250-pound man sedate for a few hours.
That would be most useful.
He says, "Yes, follow me down to the lab."
Yes. And if you do have Iori will follow Dr. Manson down to the lab. On the way, Iori will say, if you do have extra to spare, just in case the administration goes wrong,
Well,
that would be most welcome.
I don't have a lot of it here at the university. Most of the work where I require a sedative is I do at the asylum. So I have just a bit.
All right. I suppose I can work with that.
And so he goes in, gets you a syringe with a needle. None of it's, all of it is still separated out, and he gets you a small jar of sedative. And he says, "Well, I suppose this is probably closer to 2 doses, but here."
Thank you. I'll
And
pocket that, and I'll
he gives
pocket
you a
the
vial
needle.
that's got just a rubber stopper in the top of it.
Awesome. Okay.
He says, I mind you, about half of this is all you need for about a 250-pound man, and I don't know how big Mr. Dupree is. If you give this whole vial to him, it might kill him.
Noted. Thank you.
And
I
we
at
switch
least
from
know
here. We'll
some
switch to
basic
Avery.
dosage.
So Avery, what are we doing?
I'm consorting with Reginald to see if he's fetched the bags from my room. Most interested to get my shotgun. Not that I think I need it. I just don't leave it behind.
Your bags are still at the house.
Okay.
Along with everyone else's bags. He's happy to. Sir, I'm happy to go back and retrieve them. Will you be leaving here from the university?
I think the consensus is that we'll leave in the morning. I need to see if anyone else has any business here, but if we spend the night at the house, then there'll be no reason for you to go back.
Very well. Very well.
What do you know of this case? Have you been following it in the papers? This Harold Dupree.
Harlan, it's Harlan, but he's...
Oh, Harlan, sorry.
No, that's fine.
Can't read my own handwriting.
What kind of author can't read? Reginald, I don't follow it. Mr. Mox keeps me quite busy with the daily routine about the house. He's
And
quite
how long have
concerned.
you been in the employ of Mr. Marks?
Well, I have been an employee of the 11th hour for about 30 years.
And how long has Mr. Marks been a part of this organization?
Mr. Mox took over 8 or so years ago.
And in that time, how many groups like our own have you seen pass through these walls?
More than a few.
Noted.
It's Sir, if I might be frank, it's dangerous work.
And how old does Reginald appear? He's an older gentleman then.
He looks to be in his 60-ish.
Okay. Are you married, Reginald?
No, sir.
Have any children?
My wife and children passed on.
Sorry to hear that.
There's quite a bit of unusual activity here in New England, and I serve the 11th hour because other families should not have to endure what I did.
The war? The sickness? Am I prying?
You're not prying. The war was across the ocean. The sickness was here, and my family was gone prior to it. There's many things in these hills, and not all of them are considered normal to scientists. Make a psychology roll.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's just it's no big deal. You can't get really a read of whether he's holding anything back or just letting it all hang out there. You get the feeling he's telling you the truth, but you're not sure whether he's giving you the whole truth or not.
Well, I appreciate you being candid with me, Reginald, and I appreciate your help with everything so far.
Of course. Well, you be waiting for the rest of them. So Gussie and Patty, where are you at?
Darling, I think we should talk to a Dr. Miller about some keys.
Yes, I rather think that's our next step as well.
I'd hate to have to drive back and then drive here again, so you know.
Oh, yeah, that would be troublesome, to say the least.
Is Dr. Miller still here?
He walked out of the meeting. He and Dr. Adelson left the meeting room, and Dr. Adelson, who's the president of the university, was making a beeline out the front door like he had bigger and better things to be doing. Dr. Miller, his office is here in this science building. And so,
Can I find me a nerd, please? Any of the nerds I spoke to, I'd like to find one of them.
well, you could follow Dr. Miller.
I will certainly follow him. I kind of like pat Gussie. I'm Gussie. I pat Patty on the back.
Patty.
Pat Patty.
Patty cake.
Dr. Miller, excuse me. I'm sorry. I hate to stop you.
Oh, quite, ladies. How may I be of assistance?
First off, as one Miller to another, excited to see where you are. I just love to hear the last name with doctor in front of it. Also, there was some talk of transportation.
Yes. Yes, come on. I'll get one of the graduate students to go get the car for you.
That would be so helpful. Thank you very much.
We may not be leaving immediately, but it would be very much appreciated if we could have access to the vehicle prior.
Ah, yes. We've got 3 cars, and there's no reason that this is important for the university. Depending on what you all find out in Coldwater Falls, it could amount to an immense amount of funding for programs.
Certainly. Always important to get funding for learning and scholarly pursuits. Naturally, of course, also in the pursuit of ensuring the health and well-being of the gentleman, but also
Well,
good to continue the good work of good institutions.
I'm not sure that's their top priority, but you know, the funding. I'm sorry.
as you are well aware, Gussie, sometimes the funding must come so the learning and help can happen. We can't
Oh.
go. We can't go on the digs without the funding to get the learning.
Naturally,
And
naturally.
so, I
I mean,
won't.
my money's made off of people who are already passed and not off of those still kicking, you know. It's just a bit different. But once again, I am excited to be able to help the college. You know. Believe me, I support your need for funding.
Yes, thank you.
Just a bit different.
Um. Yes, we. And so, indeed. So he flags a little college, a graduate student down, and says, Gerald, run and get the car, bring it around front, and have it ready for these ladies.
Thank you so much, Gerald. You are a peach.
Are you turning on the charm?
I am.
He blushes and runs.
Ooh.
Oh.
Gussie
This-
is left. Gussie, the second that it's we're getting the car, Gussie's already walked out.
Well, all right then.
All right.
Thank you so very much for your time, Dr. Miller. Won't keep you longer.
And I don't want to seem like the funding is the most important. I certainly understand where she's coming from. If I'm going to be honest, I don't think there's a lot of hope for Mr. Dupree.
Well,
The
it
psychotic
does
break.
seem as though
The psychotic
strange-
break that drives a man to eat another human being. There's. I don't know that I think that he's got. I'm sorry, but I think he's gone.
Well, I suppose that might even wind up being for the best. Can't say I know many folk would want to know that they had done such a thing, lucid or not.
Exactly.
But we'll do what we can.
Excellent. So the four of you end up meeting out front about the same time, and Gerald has come around with the car, and he is smiling ear to ear at you, Patty.
And she gives him just a little bit of a curtsy. You certainly know how to treat a lady.
He opens the door up wide for you first and Gussie.
Oh, thank you, dear. Thank you so much.
Which door does he open for us?
First he opens the front passenger door,
Okay.
and then whichever, and he is assuming he's putting Patty in that spot, and then whichever door he sees you walking to is the other one he rushes over to open for you, Gussie.
Okay. I am going to go to the driver's side.
Out of curiosity, what is your drive auto?
I mean, you're a bit higher than me, but also we're just driving like normal people, I am hoping.
Yes.
I would
mean-
hope as
Hoping
well.
this is a
We're
normal
not doing any
drive.
crazy stunts off the
I will-
Miskatonic University
I
fountain.
will be driving the speed limit, possibly slower, and I am getting where I'm going.
Well, Boss Hog
That's
wanted to get them Miller girls.
Slowly but surely.
Mr. Avery, do you want to ride?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Has Yori joined us again?
Yes, I'm already in the back seat.
I mean, you've heard tell that this thing, if you really, really push it, you could get it all the way up to 40 miles an hour.
Oh, heavens.
I mean, if you all ask me nicely, we'll push it.
Well, perhaps not on the university grounds.
I rev the engine.
40 miles is...
It breaks down.
You rebel.
Say goodbye to your boyfriend. Let's go.
Bye-bye, Gerald.
He's blushing and he attempts to stammer something out that's but it's just more like hi.
Gus, Patty kind of like gives him a nice little wave out the window. You know, you're going to break that little boy's heart.
I don't think that's going to be my doing, darling.
Well, I wasn't the one who drove away in a huff.
Can't deny that.
So where would the four of you like to go or do for the remainder of the day?
I would like to propose that we inquire with maybe either a local news institution or some other place that might have some kind of talk about this this werewolf man.
Are you sure you want to be seen prying about a werewolf man?
It's strange news, and we're just folk passing through town. It's an idea.
Uh,
I don't mean to be to seem conflicted here, but some of the best gossip is shared at taverns, and it wouldn't hurt to find a safe place to drink in this town.
A speakeasy would be preferable.
It sounds like you all want to do something more once we get to Coldwater, correct? Where are we? Driving, where am I?
Well,
yeah,
we're not in Coldwater
the
yet.
only place you know how to get here in town is either back to the 11th hour mansion.
Room. So I could say that what if we honestly picked up our bags, went to Coldwater, found you all a nice place to drink, because that seems to be the implication, and maybe somebody will have loose lips.
Isn't it afternoon or morning even?
No, right now it's late morning, and so if you were to leave now, you'd get there late afternoon.
Which would be right about time
Right
for
about
the
time,
speakeasies
yes.
to start opening up here and there.
Well, let's get our bags and get on the road. It may take them. I don't know how big a town Coldwater Falls is. I've never heard of it. It may take us a while to find a place to drink.
Could well do. Let's do what we can.
All
yeah,
right.
you've been told that you just need to head west on the Aylesbury Pike Road, and it's about 60 miles west of Arkham.
Okay, so we swing by the mansion. We don't stay in the mansion for longer than we need to. And we go on our way.
Reggie is happy to go get your bags for you and bring them down and load them into the car for you.
Reggie,
Very
darling,
kind.
I hope they pay him well.
I certainly hope so. He deserves it.
I think so.
Are you just saying that because he has to deal with that plant thing?
100% he has to stay here. That thing's just in the house. What if it gets out and...
He has probably been used to it. Apparently, Mr. Marks has been showcasing this monstrosity to everyone, all his guests.
He's
So
an
it
idiot
was
then.
not-
Rather loose-lipped of him,
No.
isn't it?
Big idiot. Ooh, look at my monster plant. Insane.
perhaps a little irresponsible, but I suppose
One
it
can't
isn't
say it's
normal
not a-
among academics to show off these oddities, seeing as there's nothing else to do.
Mm.
Which of us
so.
are the idiots? We all responded to a letter from a man we don't know and saw his monster plant, and now we're doing his bidding to meet a werewolf man.
I'm not saying we're all not idiots. It's just, I guess we're bigger idiots if we're idiots employed by a big idiot. The biggest idiots. We're a car full of idiots. That's what we can call us. We'll write it on the side of the car.
I missed your humor, sis.
Yes, jokes. That's what all that was. Is everyone ready to go? Do you need anything else besides your bags?
Well, I don't believe I was waiting on anything else myself. Gentlemen, or, sorry, Mixter Yori, and our good author friend as well.
Think I am good?
Have everything I need, thank you.
All right.
So,
Let's go.
Mr. So Reggie, as you're leaving, he brings out a sealed bottle of Old Forester. He says, "Here, in case you need it."
Nobody
I
drinks
can
till
think-
we're at cold water.
You're no fun!
Not here to have fun. We're here to help, hopefully help a desperate man who thinks he's a dog. Let's go.
All
This
right.
is, he says this one's strong, and sometimes some of the groups have enjoyed having a bit of a nip after a long day.
I can only imagine it's good to steady the nerves. Or bribe an official.
Or those groups are dead. Thank you very much, Reginald.
Never been a bourbon man, but I appreciate the gift.
You'll come around.
All right. So, who's driving?
I'm driving. And
All
if I
right.
get tired, I'm going to hand it over to Patty if she does not drink.
All
All
right.
Gussie,
Fine.
give me a luck roll.
Oh, God.
Oh no! Gussie, take the wheel!
Look at that.
Woo! Hard success.
Hahoo! Well done.
I am the greatest driver.
Yes.
The luckiest
So-
driver.
You,
Have you been practicing? You're doing a great job.
as you hit the Aylesbury Pike, you can see that if the weather had been bad recently, that this might not be such a great road to drive. You see there's some ruts in places and some potholes, some and others, but the condition of the road is nice and dry, and not a whole lot of folks out here. So you find yourself making wonderful time through the scenic countryside.
Perfect. Not a worry.
Gussie, you are handling this like a pro. I'm proud of you.
Honestly, I'm not used to like driving on roads, you know.
What's the seating arrangement in the vehicle? So Gussie's driving, but
It's a 4-person sedan, so 2 in the front, 2 in the back.
I'm
I'm
in the
sitting front passenger because, you know, I'm taking over if Gussie needs a break.
all right, I'm sitting right behind Patty. And I reach into my inside breast pocket, pull out a flask, and take a swig of Glenfiddich and kind of hand it around to her.
Do I see this happening in my car?
Do you
You
see it
the
happening?
bottle. You see the bottle pass forward. Absolutely.
Oh, I'm gonna slam on the brakes.
It's just a little flask.
It's not like a big slam on the brakes. It's just a little bit. It's a warning. I'm not gonna say don't do it. I'm just gonna give a little push to the brakes.
Yeah, it's still quite a bumpy drive. The road is not
this road
a good road.
terrible.
Obviously,
and
terrible.
the seats in this old Model T, well, actually, it's a new Model T, but the seats are not designed for what barely qualifies as a road for as far as those of you that are a little more gentrified would
It
call.
seems not many people pass by this road.
Yes, as you approach, you go through a very small town, Dean's Corner. It has about 80-ish people or so, including the cows and chickens. On your way there.
Interesting. Not looking like we'll be finding very many speakeasies this way out.
And as you start to approach Coldwater Falls, you notice that the Miskatonic River has slowly started getting closer back to the road. And as you're driving into town, you can see that there is a small waterfall in the river off to the side of the road. And there's a grain mill powered by the fall. Right there as you're coming in. As you're driving through Main Street, you see you're looking here, and Main Street is a small general store, the town hall / sheriff's office, and you can see a small church on your left, and it looks like there's a bigger one up on the right.
A two-church town. Astounding.
And
Definitely not gonna find a speakeasy here then.
And then and then a little bit further down, across from the church, you see a place called the Blue Duck Diner.
Good a place as any, I suppose. Might be able to find someone who's, I don't know, tired after a long day, maybe not too worried about keeping a tight lip about local news.
So as you're slowly driving down Main Street and you pass the sheriff's office, a man practically runs out the front door of the sheriff's office and makes it quite obvious. He starts waving his arms at you as you're driving by.
I speed up. I'm just kidding. Nope. I'm going to slow down, and we're gonna put the brakes on, and I'm gonna lower the window a little bit.
He walks over. He's got the sheriff's hat on with the vest and a star on his shirt.
Sheriff.
How'd you
And
do?
he says, "You folks from the school?"
We are indeed, yes, sir.
Oh, wonderful. Some investigators here to find out what's going on. Thank goodness.
Here to help, absolutely.
If you want, why don't you... I'm sure after this drive you could stand to have something to drink and a bite to eat. Head on down there to the Blue Duck, and I'll meet you over there in just a moment.
Much obliged, Sheriff. We would love to know anything that you can tell us about this terrible situation so that we can better help you to solve it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me let my deputy know that he's in charge, and I'll be right there.
All right.
Thank you very much.
I guess we're going to get a bite to eat.
I'm a bit peckish myself. I will say, I think there was one point where Patty did sort of like sneak the smallest sip of the Glenfiddich and re-close the flask before passing it back to our good companion in the back.
I'm going to drive us
Yuri?
to the Blue Duck Diner.
Yep, the Blue Duck Diner. It's a small place. There's a large plate glass window across the front, 4 of them kind of side by side of each other. It has an odd looking symbol on the door front, just to the side of the door. Actually, it's kind of an old cross kind of look. It's the cross that's got a full circle on it. As you're pulling up and all that, the sheriff practically runs over so that y'all aren't walking in without him, and
Police escort.
yeah, as he walks in, he walks up to the front and he goes, "We're gonna sit back here. Make sure no one else comes and sits by us."
Of course, discretion in such matters is very highly prized.
Yes.
Are there other
How many people are in the
diner?
diner? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I was
It's
saying what you were
roomy
saying.
and pleasant, a little bit rustic, and Eddie. You heard him address the owner as Eddie, and Eddie is you're guessing late 40s. He's pretty well kept. He's got a little bit of food grease on his clothes in various places. He's got an apron, but it looks like he doesn't wear it all the time. And so he's a little dirty, but there's 2 other patrons in here at the moment. But so the constable says, "We've got some time. The rest of these tables will start filling it up in about an hour or 2."
And as the tables do fill up, I'm looking over the people that are there. I want to notice particularly anybody that looks like they probably need a drink but haven't been able to get one, or probably does know where to get a drink.
All right. So that'll be a spot hidden roll.
Okay.
Sheriff,
Or
if I
listen.
may ask,
Well, that's fine. So,
what is it that most folk do in this sort of town for their living? Is it mainly farming in this region, or do you have other folk plying
we've
other
got the
trades?
mill, a bunch of farmers, some lumber work, leather tanning. That's pretty much most of it. We've got a new textile mill opening that just opened up recently. So I'd say, goodness, there's about 100 folks working at the textile mill. So
Go right
Sheriff,
ahead.
did you know this Wolfman before he had a mental break?
Harlan, yeah, that's so that's why we asked you to come here. Well, I got a whole. So far, the only people that know anything about this are, of course, the townsfolk. But the nearest papers are either Boston or Arkham, and I've managed to keep it out of the Arkham papers, so it's local at the moment. Harlan, he's got a house out on the west side of town. He builds, well, still builds. Used to be a very, very, very talented man. The sculptures that man could make out of stone would make you weep. Truly, truly works of art. But then his wife took ill and passed away. Oh gosh, that was going on 12 years ago, and then Harlan turned to drinking. And by the time, he's got a daughter, her name's Clementine. Clementine left the house after a couple years of that. Harlan, he still makes tombstones for, out for the graveyard, but that's about all he does now. I mean, tomorrow, I mean, heck, maybe even later tonight, you might be able to take a look at some of the work that he used to do. But
Does he keep a gallery?
well, his backyard probably would be the best way of saying his gallery. But Clementine, she, I sent the deputy over to the boarding house to have some rooms set aside for you. Clementine's, she lives there with her aunt Esmeralda. Oh gosh, Clementine was 9 when she left that house, and I think she's got to be about 20. Far as I know, she hasn't seen much of her father in years, because most of us, the morning that we found him, the shopkeeper that found him just kind of figured that he was just drunk like normal. There's many a mornings, and I mean many a mornings, where I'd have to go pick him up from the general store's front porch and drag him into the jail and just let him dry out for the day.
How are folks around here getting drunk?
Well, either have some still left over, or there's some stills around, would be my guess.
And you don't enforce that as a sheriff?
Enforce what?
The
Prohibition.
Enforce what?
All right, you're a good man.
Personally, I have to agree.
As far as I know, if friends just give friends bottles, I mean, what's the harm in that?
I have to agree. Honestly.
Sheriff, I hate to try and put you back on topic. Could you tell me about the night of the incident?
Well, Jacob Miller came hollering and woke me up in the middle of the night, telling me that his daughter was missing. And he and I went out looking for a little bit. By the morning, we arranged for a search party, and that's what I was in the middle of doing when Philip, he's over at the general store, came and grabbed me, hollering that Harlan was on his doorstep, chewing on a bone. And when I got there, I just figured he was drunk or something, chewing on a bone. What do you expect? But when I get there, I see there's this blue sock just hanging off the end of this bone. And I'd just spent the night with Jacob telling me that the one thing he knew is that his daughter had those blue socks on.
Oh.
So,
Oh dear.
thankfully I had the deputy with me, because Harlan, instead of, I trying to talk to him, instead of him just behaving like normal, he lunged at me and tried to grapple around me and tried to bite me. Trying to bite right into my neck. Between the deputy and I, we got him restrained and threw him in the jail cell, and I'll bring you over here after we're done talking so you can see. But it's
Was he still speaking words?
no, he is certainly not speaking.
Okay.
And has this small town, had any brushes with madness in the past?
No, and
Seeing
right
folks
now,
come back from the war, or
Well, I mean, there's a few folks come back from the war that aren't quite as right as they used to be, but nothing. I mean, everyone's got the tale that Johnny does this or Mabel does that, and sure, we've got our fair share of things that the deputy and I need to take care of here and there, but nothing that nothing like this. This is he was a talented man, and he drank a lot.
May I ask, who was Harlan close to prior to this terrible incident? Who did he speak with the most? Who did he spend his days with?
As far as I know, he spent most of his time either at his workshop working on a headstone or a tombstone that he needed to do, or drinking. Occasionally he might go to the church to find out the name of who he needed to do things for, or he might, I suppose, might have to go to the graveyard to talk to the grave digger to find out size or something, but here.
What
Who
is
was
the name of...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Quite all right. I just wanted to know, I suppose, if the grave digger would have been, it sounds to me, like the person who Mr. Harlan spoke with most frequently. The gravedigger may just know, perhaps, whether or not there were some strange behaviors of Mr. Harlan's leading up to this incident. What is the name of your church gravedigger, if I may ask?
Oh, his name. Oh, let me think. The father is. He works for the father, but Tobias, that's it. Tobias.
What was the name of the man that he tried to eat?
Well, it was little Bethany,
Oh,
and so far we haven't found her.
Oh.
do you presume that Bethany's could be possibly alive even after that?
I presume that I pulled a child's tibia out of that man's mouth.
How old is this Bethany?
She was 8.
Oh.
Well, we established that, but how old was she? Sorry.
Oh no!
Your wordplay is going to be the death of me, Mr. Avery.
Speaking of being eaten, Sarah, you said that he attempted to bite you and your deputy. Was he successful?
No.
All right. Do you know of anyone he bit?
Other than apparently Bethany, no.
All right. Does his appearance seem to be any different besides like a crazed look? Does he physically seem different at all?
Other than behavior, he seems no different.
Who were
None of
Bethany's parents?
Well, yeah, Jacob. Jacob Miller is her father. See, not all Millers are doctors. Some of them get eaten by werewolves.
Oh no. Well, let's just hope that that pattern does not recur.
I suppose. And Hannah is her mother. Right now, Jacob is out with a search party looking for his daughter.
Does he already know about Mr. Harlan's involvement?
Yes, and like the rest of us, we're all hoping that there's more to this than what we're finding, and that Harlan did not do what it appears he did.
How exactly long ago was this?
It was 2 nights ago.
Would
Why don't y'all give me a spot hidden?
could I also ask about the moon patterns? Would we know what the moon was like 2 nights ago?
You can make me an occult roll.
Ooh, let me do my spot hidden and then I will do an occult roll.
Did not succeed that spot hidden. Ooh! Y'all did, though.
Yeah.
Ooh, coming in hot, boys.
Woo! Mark that.
And then I'll do an occult.
Yori and... Oh, look at that.
Ooh! Making up for the first episode, huh?
Oh yeah, here I come. I'm in.
Yeah. So make sure you put check marks on those.
yeah.
So for the spot hidden, those of you that succeeded, and Yori, you really see it, you notice that there's a man walking across the street dragging a very heavy trunk. He's wearing a bowler hat, got a very thin face, and Yori, you can see with your amazing roll that he's actually sweating profusely in his attempt to drag this case. He's wearing a shirt and tie, and he has on a jacket, and as I said, the bowler hat, and he is dragging this trunk behind
Just through
him.
the main street, on foot?
On foot, on the sidewalk, across... it's on the street, but on the walk across the way.
Yori will glance at Gussie, like, not saying anything, but like, because Gussie's the other person who's seen this, right?
Yes.
So
Both
kinda,
of you are like,
glancing, like,
what the heck is that?
you see that?
Mm,
And
Sure.
kind of look, and then looking at everyone else, like, hey, look at that, but like quietly, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna bring it up a little bit. Sheriff, I'm going to excuse myself for a moment. Please continue on. Yori, would you like to join me?
Sure.
One moment.
Do be careful, sister.
Of course. Also, do I know anything about them moons?
You know that it was a waxing moon.
Waxing, got it.
Hmm.
I'm gonna lean in to Patty before leaving. Darling, there's a weird man carrying like a large crate, and we're about to go check it out. You're welcome to come. I just didn't want to point him out to the sheriff in case we could get information first. All right, love you.
All right. Bye. Love you.
And I'd like to start making my way over to this gentleman.
All right. So Gussie gets up and excuses herself.
Here we go.
Just, Sheriff, you say you don't enforce the prohibition in this town. Is that accurate?
Now that Gussie's gone.
Yeah. Get the teetotalers out of the way.
Well, if someone were to blatantly inform me that they were illegally brewing moonshine in their household, I suppose I would be responsible for immediately enforcing the law as it is the law.
Also, I've heard some tell of rumors about some household stills being a bit dangerous. Alcohol at high
Now,
temperatures being a rather
if someone
volatile
were to
substance.
not, as it's just the deputy and I, we don't have the time to chase down every rumor.
But you still enjoy a drink yourself, don't you, sir?
Well, there's nothing illegal about drinking alcohol. It is only illegal to sell it and to brew it.
Naturally.
So you'd like a drink?
Says,
A refreshment for the afternoon.
don't mind if I do.
I keep plying him with alcohol to see if there's anything else. If we can get him to let his guard down a little bit.
All of you present can make a psychology check.
When I stole Yori away.
That's all right.
My psychology's low, don't worry.
Yeah. So you don't really have. He at that point he takes a drink, and at that point he was like, "This is quite nice. I think we should probably go see Harlan at this point.
Yes,
That is
definitely.
why you're here."
Of course. I only really wanted to ask one more thing about that subject, Sheriff. I know you said that Clementine, Mr. Harlan's daughter, hadn't seen very much of her father recently, but I don't suppose that she might be willing to speak with some folk concerned for her father's sake, if nothing else. Perhaps maybe she might have heard from him recently, perhaps heard something about his woes or his thoughts that may indicate where this came from or what came over him.
Well, she is at the boarding house, the Lockhart boarding house, where you're being put up. So I suppose that you'll have some opportunity to speak with her.
Do you know if she'd be willing? I mean, she hadn't seen her father much. What do you know of how she feels about her father?
I would imagine that, like most young women, she's probably loves her dad and is probably hurt by the fact that he didn't spend much or any time with her over the last years, and she's lived with her aunt the most of her life. I've heard more than a few stories of Esmeralda throwing Harlan off the property because he was there drunk.
Oh dear.
So
All right.
Clementine seems to be a good girl. She stays out of trouble. She goes to church regular. I don't really know much more about her. She doesn't cause trouble, so I don't see her much.
Understandable. Still, very much appreciated.
All right, and we move over to Gussie and Yori going out to see the shady, sweaty man carrying a trunk.
If both are psychology, or that's basically insight, so.
Correct.
Oh boy, I'm not here to insight anybody.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Obviously.
So, the man has dark hair, beady eyes, a long nose, and the bowler hat. And as he sees you coming up. He stands up and tries to straighten his jacket, and he says, "Greetings, folks."
Greetings. That looks quite heavy.
Yes, yes. Would you like to lighten some of my heavy load?
Well, you'll have to show me what's inside first.
Well, absolutely. You look like you are quite a purveyor of knowledge, yes?
I think you're speaking to the right people, yes.
Oh, well. Are you aware that mustard was used in the ancient Egyptian and Greek civilizations as a spice and was believed to have medicinal properties?
I suppose.
How interesting. Could I roll something to see if that is
A
true?
thing at all.
Yeah, just go ahead and make an intelligence roll. Or education, whichever's higher.
Education is just a little bit higher.
There you go. You do know that that is a true statement. And
Okay.
he bends over to start opening the trunk up, and you see volumes of books inside the trunk.
Astounding.
And
Gotta be
he
careful
says-
with those encyclopedia salesmen.
He says, I have only read A through L, and I am working on M. But you too could own your own set of Acme Deluxe Universal Encyclopedias.
Oh my. Fascinating.
I'm gobsmacked at the amount of knowledge sitting in one crate.
And indeed, he appears to have 3 complete sets
Oh.
of Acme Deluxe Universal Encyclopedias right here in this trunk.
And how much is a set?
Well, each volume is only $1.50.
Ugh, a steal.
Where did you get these books?
Well, I work for the Acme Deluxe Universal Encyclopedia Company,
Of course. A representative.
and I'm here in town in Coldwater Falls to sell them.
How long have you been in town, sir?
Only a few days. I'm staying at the Lockhart boarding house. If you'd like to, would you like to buy a set?
You know what? I'm getting quite interested. It's very exciting in this town. First, an encyclopedia salesman, and honestly, I've been looking to kind of hype up my collection, acquire some more knowledge. But also, have you heard the dreadful news?
Which news?
Oh, about, some poor child attacked by a maniac.
I have heard there's a child missing.
But what
Quite
other...
tragic. It is.
You
It has
asked
made things
which
difficult.
news?
No, there haven't been many people home because they seem to be out working or looking for her. But I'm not supposed to leave this community until I sell at least one full set.
What a terrible situation.
Yes. Go ahead and make a spot hidden check for the.
Okie dokie.
Oh, both of you. Look at this. You notice that. You notice that the knuckles of his right hand actually have some significant purple discoloration.
You said you're staying at the boarding house?
Yeah, yes. That's where I stay.
You know what? I was actually considering staying there myself, so maybe? What room are you in if I wanted to drop by and grab some encyclopedias? I can't really carry them now.
Well, It's just one of the rooms. They're not numbered.
Oh, perfect. Then I'll just go knock around until I find you.
Yeah, Esmeralda or Clementine could definitely show you which room I'm in.
Of course. Very good. I'm sorry. I'm not sure if I got your name, sir.
I'm Mr. John Smith.
Oh, a lovely name. Very Puritan. Well, Mr. John Smith, I think I will be making a stop by your room later, and I will be getting you out of this town.
Oh, well, well, if we sell one quickly, I might even be able to sell a second, but then I could leave whenever I was ready.
That's perfect.
Thank you. So no sales right now. He closes the trunk up and latches it and says, and tips his hat. He says, I must go try to find someone else to sell it, but maybe I can just meet you at the boarding house.
I think that would be most advantageous. Probably we will buy it from you.
Of course. My
Wonderful.
associate and I are always looking for books.
And so he starts to drag the case down the road. As you are finishing up your discussion with Mr. Smith, the constable and Patty and Avery are walking out of the diner.
Gussie, dear.
Oh, right. Well, Yori, that was enlightening. I think we'll have to talk to our friend Mr. Smith later.
I think it was good of you to refrain from buying then, because it would be interesting to keep him in town a bit longer. You saw his knuckles too, right?
Yes, a bit suspicious. I can't say of what, but a bit suspicious.
Maybe we should ask the sheriff if he has what the sheriff might know about this man.
I think so. Let's check in on Harlan, and then maybe we can bring it up casually after if we all can stomach conversation. Alright, I'm going to go back and join the group.
Yes. So you all start to walk over to the constable's office. And as you open the door, you see that it's small but functional, one-room office. As that first step in, you hear the floors go creak. There's 2 coffee pots on top of a potbelly stove, keeping them warm. There's a file cabinet. Several stuffed fishing trophies are on the wall. And there's a curtain pulled across the back of the room. And the sheriff says, well, Harlan's behind that curtain.
Like a show. Interesting.
Well,
Wouldn't be ideal for the average townsfolk to come passing through and see a neighbor in such a state as his.
yes, agreed. So he says, all right, well, he pulls back the curtain. In there, you see a man curled up on the floor under a cot. You can hear him panting, his tongue hanging out the side of his mouth. He's dirty and unkempt. You can see that his fingers are curled in so that his hands almost resemble paws. His knuckles are badly scraped and caked with blood. And as the curtain pulls open, he stirs, looks up at you and Goes, hi! And starts to sniff the air around you. I need each of you to make a sanity check.
Oh,
Oh, here I go.
Oh boy! We'll see.
oh, I failed.
Oh, ho, hard success for me.
Oh, I'm still in it. Okay.
Everyone succeeded except for poor Yori.
No.
Yori,
Oh.
you lose 2 sanity points seeing this man-turned dog ready to snap at you. What is your reaction to him?
I think it's just very strange and never been seen before. I think Yori might be horrified by the mental state that perhaps this man might be in a mental prison, which is a terrifying prospect, isn't it? I think it would be a sort of, how do you, like, a vicarious terror.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. And you missed all the exciting talk about them threatening to kill a door-to-door encyclopedia salesman.
I don't
and
Like you do.
I don't recall threatening anyone.
I
No
know.
lives were threatened.
What
Punching
happens
was
off
threatened.
camera stays off camera. Whatever.
The encyclopedia salesman, not a census worker. We're not going to eat him.
Wow.
A lot of cannibalism in this episode, actually.
A lot of
Well.
eating. I mean, it's been like one person, but it feels like a lot.
Well, I mean, that was
One person is kind of a lot.
Your
You're right.
preference,
It-
so.
Well, I mean, it was an 8-year-old girl, so maybe it was only a snack.
Oh my god. I mean, you know, if we put another person in there just for science.
Maybe he'll turn back.
Yeah, what if he bites somebody, he passes on the disease, he's fine.
What if he just real hungry?
What if he's just
Right.
really hungry?
Yori, you want nothing to do with getting closer to this cell.
Mm.
Your scientific side is going, this looks fun. Your sanity is saying, oh no. No.
Yori takes several steps back and just stays there. Perhaps-
Would Patty notice?
You can make a spot hidden check, see if spot hidden. No, you did not notice that that Yori took 2 steps back.
Whoop. I mean,
Oh.
I'm just focused in on the dog man.
Yeah. You see that there is 2 bowls, one with water and one with some kind of slop in it,
Ooh.
pushed just inside the cell. And the constable says, well, we can't let the man starve.
Well, certainly not.
Of course not. Mr. Debris?
He does not appear to answer to the name at all.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
It was, honestly, I think that's a very good approach, and I can't fault you.
Does
Constable,
he
do you-
respond to who's a good boy?
It either works or it's incredibly insulting, and I feel terrible that you did it.
I mean,
The other.
I'm just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks, sis.
Honestly,
Yeah.
you beat me to it, just barely. I was seconds away from talking.
We are cut from the same cloth, after all.
Very much so. I plan to address him like a dog the rest of the time.
You know, make a power check for me.
Interesting. First time I've done that. Okay, power.
Ooh. Oh, wow.
Right
You
there
just
on the
made
dot.
it.
Oh,
So, something about your tone, or just your overall presence, he looks at you and moves into that low growl. Not, more of a, you get the distinct impression it's more of a alpha dog asserting its dominance over you, but not wanting to hurt you, but at the same time going, I will kill you if you make me.
Look,
Well-
you're making a friend.
I guess I am. I'd like to sort of not right next to the cell, maybe like just a little bit back, take a knee, and sort of just like kind of try to keep eye contact with Harlan and just sort of speak low and quiet and calm. Now, you've been awfully lonely in there, haven't you? It's been a long couple of days, hasn't it? Does he seem to be kind of responding? Is he still kind of in the same position?
He's still in the same position with that same low growl.
Okay.
Constable,
understand.
is it customary for you to feed all of your inmates here with in bowls?
Well, I'm not sticking my hand in there. And that seems better than making him starve.
You don't have a tray of food you could have slid in there?
He wouldn't eat normal food.
I
He
think-
wasn't accepting any?
I tried to give him a sandwich. He didn't eat it. Except he took his nose and nuzzled around in it to get the meat out of it and ate the meat out of the sandwich and left the rest.
How strange.
I mean, most dogs will eat anything. It has to be some sort of extreme psychosis, because if he's behaving almost as if how a person would perceive a dog, eating from bowls, sleeping under beds. If I were a dog, I would be happy to sleep on a bed. But maybe I'm bougie. I'm not sure.
You would be a rather bougie dog, sis. I have to agree.
I'd be quite the bougie dog, I'm sure. So, and there was nothing out of the ordinary besides, the horrible incident of his wife passing and his daughter leaving, and just being a sad drunk. Nothing else stood out.
Not that we know.
Right.
I've been quite busy since this incident in looking for Bethany. Hopeful, even if not overly so.
Harlan, do you remember Bethany?
You get no response beyond. He briefly glances your direction and.
Harlan, do you remember Clementine? Oh. Okay.
Do you think he could do a 1 bark for yes, 2 barks for no sort of situation? Remember Bethany. Bark once. If you don't, bark twice, please.
All of you can give me psychology rolls.
Oof. Here comes all the red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm
There we
anticipating.
go. Ooh.
Well, Patty, you're only off by 3. You could spend 3 luck
Ooh.
points
Luck.
and turn that into a success.
Good.
3 is worth it to me. 3 is worth it to me. I'll take that.
All right. So, in the time that after a good 45 minutes or so of this line of questioning and going back and forth with him, you are pretty well convinced that Dupree is in a position where his delusion is real, and he fully believes himself to be a canine. And
He has no human understanding
Right.
going on right now.
Exactly. You've got. You're not sure. There. Your theory at the moment is that his mind has invented this persona to protect himself from a overwhelming trauma. This is some form of disassociation.
My friends, near as I can tell, Mr. Harlan is not home right now. I don't know.
Looks
The
like
fella in front of us is, for all intents and purposes, a dog, an animal, and knows no different. But this was brought on by something dreadful.
Indeed, what could cause a man such as this to assume such a form in his mind?
I would have
Almost
expected
like
a
he
man.
Trapped himself in it.
I would have
Any
expected a
number.
man who worked with graves to perhaps have a stronger constitution, but maybe even he saw something that turned his blood cold.
Any number of things can bring on trauma in a man, but I only know a handful of things that can fix it. Constable, where can we get some of this moonshine in this area? If we can dull this man's pain, maybe we can bring the man back out.
He is a dog. He is not going to drink alcohol, and I don't think we should give a psychotic man alcohol.
Well, this is as safe a place as any. He is behind these bars. If we can dull the pain of the man that causes him to dwell inside of this beast,
Alcohol has been attempting to numb his pain for years, and this is where he is currently.
My argument, Gussie, here is that the man has been living on alcohol for many years. Whatever happened to him, whether it was caused immediately by the alcohol or by some other event, he's been without the alcohol now for 2 days. He is in withdrawal. He is hurting right now.
I think
It
it
might
was,
just be...
It could
I think it was
be-
Nietzsche that said he that makes a beast of himself gets rid of the pain of being a man.
Perhaps a low dose might be helpful.
just enough, perhaps.
Constable
Would you be
says,
willing
"Well,
to allow us to try it, Sheriff?
if you find the alcohol, you feel free."
I mean,
Yes, sir.
we have
A little.
a chance if some was on hand.
Well, as I said, there's nothing illegal about drinking it. It's only in making it and selling it.
Mm.
If you want to get this dog drunk, by all means, go ahead.
We've got nothing but time at this point.
Maybe you could mix it with some liquid or the food. But I
There's
think
water and it looks like beef stew in his bowl.
And the food's closer. It's like right at the edge of the...
Right, the water bowl and the food bowl are both right there at the edge so that the sheriff can
Pull
fill
him in and pull him out.
Yep.
I think I need to go outside to get some fresh air for now.
Take your time, Mr. Yori.
I don't blame you.
We're here. Why not go ahead and do it? Yori, I 100% understand if you want to step out. It's been a rough few days.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see.
Or even if you
Miss-
splash them onto the floor, if he seems interested.
Just a little, perhaps. I don't know.
Empty the rest of my flask into his water dish.
All right.
Probably better than he deserves, but
Perhaps what he deserves doesn't come into it very much right now.
Now, this is single malt, though.
He shows zero interest in the alcohol you're pouring in his water dish.
Hmm.
Now he has contaminated water, and somebody has to stick their hand in to get it. Perfect.
It's right there on the edge. I wonder,
By all means.
Mr. Avery, do you happen to have that bottle?
The bottle's in the vehicle.
Ah, yes. I might just step out and grab it, perhaps waft it a little, see if perhaps he's more of a brandy man.
It's in the what's bourbon, but
That one.
it's in the
I forgot.
the boot of the motor car.
I will retrieve it and I'll be right back.
When Patty goes out, I've done some readings about some strange occurrences. I'm completely taking werewolf out of the equation in my mind currently. Is there anything that I've read that seems similar to this? Anything in my weirder readings?
Make an occult roll.
I would love to make an occult roll.
Hey,
That's
lean into that.
what I'm here to do. If I could make this go where I want it to. There we go.
Ooh, that's very nice.
That is nice.
Oh, does this look familiar? This horrific thing I'm looking at?
So, there is certainly many instances over history of discussions of werewolves. And then on the flip side of that, there's also many cults over the years that have had, that have discussions about cannibalism and the power of eating the human, entity. And, he's... Most of the discussions of werewolves all have physical transformation. So there's no physical transformation here. And although he is exhibiting cannibalistic traits, and so the question is, what, with what Patty had brought to your mind is, what trauma moved him to this pseudo-werewolf thing? And is he trying to embrace something that he saw and to become part of it? Hiding amongst it? You're sitting here...
Ooh, player down.
Man down, man down!
Oh no! Be like what he saw. All right.
And
Go
to
ahead.
try to pull anything more out of his behavior is looking for a needle in a haystack. You just don't have enough information.
Yeah.
But really what you need is to find the source of the trauma.
I think that we have bothered Mr. Harlan quite enough and contaminated his water bowl and upset him a bit. I think that if we are allowed, Sheriff, we should go check out his home, and maybe perhaps we take a swing by the graveyard, speak to a nice gravedigger.
Yes, his
Those
home,
are
it's difficult to miss his house. It is on the west side of town. It's a bit run down, fenced backyard, completely. He gives you the address.
Thank you very much, Sheriff. Sheriff, I'm sorry. A lot has happened recently. I can't remember your name. I'm terribly sorry.
Oh, quite, ma'am. It's Archibald Clark.
Sheriff Clark. Well, thank you for your assistance, Sheriff Clark.
And if my deputy, if you happen to see him around, that's Amos
Deputy Amos.
Pitts.
I'm sorry, what was his last name?
Pitts.
Ah, good.
His name is the Pits. No, I'm kidding.
Right. I'm not sure about the rest of you. I'm going to go check on Yori. And then I think maybe we should swing by his dwelling.
Well, I'm over at the car. How long has it taken me to get there and start my way back?
I'm just talking to Avery. I'm like, oh, everyone's gone. Hi.
Yeah, it's only a 5-minute walk.
Oh, I still might like to have the car a quick getaway.
Yeah, so you're walking back into the sheriff's office. Yori, you're just kind of standing outside,
Yes.
getting fresh air.
Oh yeah. Totally quiet.
Yeah,
Like staring off.
Yeah, it's late April. It is starting to get dark outside at this point. So,
As I'm making my way from the car towards the sheriff's office, I would like to stop a moment with Mixta Yori and sort of check in with them.
yeah.
How are you holding up?
I didn't realize I'd be so affected by what I've seen. Can you imagine having your faculties warped like that? And it seemed
Only-
that he had done it to himself.
It seems to me it was done in some kind of twisted self-defense. He's hurting something awful. I can't say from what, but for whatever reason, he feels like being this is safer than comprehending whatever it was brought him to this point.
I wonder what horror or what he has seen to cause him to retreat in such a way. On that note, there's a possibility that he had not actually eaten anything.
We can hope. We can hope. I mean, like the sheriff said, we only know what we've found, what we've seen, and what the folk around us have found and seen. Perhaps things are not like they appear to be.
Indeed.
But-
Shall we head off? I'm very curious despite this awful state that he is in.
I believe, well, I had an idea myself about whether or not perhaps the gentleman might like a bourbon as opposed to that fine Glenfiddich, which Mr. Avery so kindly gave to him. But I think that probably if this doesn't work, we'll be heading off very soon. And I'm sure about now is when Gussie comes out of the door and like, no, we're going.
So it's getting dusk. It's not completely dark. You could probably get to his house and go look at it before it's dark.
I would love to.
All right. You drive down the road a bit and get to his workshop. It's about a half mile away. You pull up and you see a one-level house that is in severe disrepair. There's a large area fenced off with a high wooden fence along the back. You see no evidence of a gate. However, the planks are riddled with knot holes. And there is the front door, of course.
I am going to step out. I am going to strap my gun onto my belt, and I'm also going to strap up my machete.
All right.
Because I am convinced
Something's going wrong.
more. I think there is an issue, and I'd rather be over prepared than under. And I go to the back and just this huge bag and just open it, and I'm like,
Yeah. Patty's gonna be getting her good old swata, her baseball bat out of her bag. Gussie knows that she carries her derringer with her always.
Of course, not to spook anyone, but imagine if it's something, strange that got him that way. Something we haven't seen. It's been a lot of seeing things we haven't seen before recently, and I'm not being caught unawares.
I think that's very prescient, sister. Honestly. It wouldn't shock me if something found Mr. Harlan either at his home or at his work. And that's what drove him to this state.
Do you think this is the arsenal is necessary?
I would
Hope
rather
not.
look stupid carrying a gun and a machete into an empty man's house than be carried out in a gurney.
I'm with Gussie on this one.
All right, then I agree, and I'll dig the double barrel shotgun out of the boot of the motor car, and I've got my 1911 on my belt, and we can go.
Yori, do you have anything like this on you?
Any
I
arguments?
happen to have some. I have a shotgun and a pistol.
Fantastic.
I have a shotgun because it's the best COC weapon.
There is a rumor.
Rude shotgun.
There is a rumor that,
Metagaming. Boo.
there is a rumor that a sawed-off shotgun is a requirement.
Well,
Well,
everyone's ready. Let's hopefully explore a very unexciting house.
I think ready's an overstatement for me, but let's get to it, shall we?
So,
All right.
you walk up to the front door, and it's locked.
Yes. Oh,
All right.
Anybody good at that?
Not me.
I will say I'm certainly not good at locked doors unless you want it, aggressively opened.
I
perhaps we can try knocking.
do have a shotgun.
I think we should avoid shooting this man's door open
I
for now.
have to agree.
There might be somebody there.
There might be. Give it a
Oh, I-
knock. Give it a minute. In the meantime, is there any other means of entrance? Any other means of...
Give me a spot hidden check.
not my best thing, but okay.
Could we all maybe spot
Um,
hidden?
Sure.
I'd love to get in. Yeah.
Hey! Oh, thank God for you.
Oh,
Hey!
Other than the front door, both of you come to you start to look around. You can see that the fence, there's a couple of spots that is not in real good condition. And you find one where you could, where you're able to push aside a board. And I think most of you are able to squeeze through there. Gussie can get through the hole pretty easily. So can Avery. So can Yori. Looks like you're all gonna fit.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Just
so
kind of
you're
squeeze
able-
on through.
Yeah, as you're looking through the backyard, you see that it is overgrown, and there is statues and headstones haphazardly strewn about this backyard.
Is there any kind of consistent pattern to the designs of the statues? Any recurring themes or figures or symbols?
Yeah, that's it's the theme is invariably Christian subject matters. Christ, Mary, apostles, angels.
Unsettling.
Well, he does work for the church. He's probably made God even knows how many tombstones, headstones, funerary displays over the years.
This town
Yeah,
just
there's
looks like a
perhaps
terrible.
between the statues and headstones scattered about, they're in various stages of completion. There's probably 6 dozen.
6 dozen.
Yeah,
Various stages of completion.
just scattered
What are
about
the
the back here.
dates? What are the dates on some of these things? Like, are there any, like, death dates listed for any of these? Are these for specific people?
So there's no dates listed. You see that some of them have a name chiseled into them. None of the statues have any kind of inscriptions on them at all. Make me a spot hidden check as you're looking through these things.
Well, by golly, by
Specifically-
gosh.
I'm specifically looking for a Bethany Miller.
Okay,
What have
make
I
a
got?
spot hidden.
Aw. Oh.
Man.
Y'all.
No. Gussie, can you give me a hand here?
Are we looking for something specific?
Well, I'm wondering if maybe, I don't know, is the man planning ahead or is he just very backlogged? I'm trying to figure out some dates on some of these stones here.
These
But I-
might have just been purchased in advance.
Yeah,
I mean,
some of
it's very possible.
some of them have they've got the initial date on them without an end date. Some of them don't have anything at all on the actual headstone itself.
So there are names on the headstones.
Few of them,
Some of them.
not all of them.
What are
Mr.
the
Avery,
names
were
of
you
the
looking for
few?
one specifically?
Was trying to find if Miss Bethany Miller had a headstone.
Can I add to the spot hidden search?
Sure.
Ooh.
So glad we asked you to do that.
I'm looking.
So
There's nothing.
what you do notice is that all of the headstones have, and you just happen to notice that one of them was instead of laying flat, it was kind of stood on its side, and you happen to look on the back side of it, and inside of roll 20 you guys should be able to see this now.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That symbol has been etched into the backside of the headstone.
I don't see it.
I see nothing. Is it in the chat?
It should be in roll 20.
It's on Twitch, but
Yeah, it's in Twitch.
Oh, there.
Oh, okay.
What?
Somebody on the other side
Okay.
held up their computer for me to look at. There you go.
Hold on, I'm editing so that you guys can all see it.
Very. I'm gonna look at that for a while. Do I recognize it?
You could make an occult check.
I'd love to. I've done so many good ones. Now is the time for failure.
Oh.
Yes. Get
So
it.
You are 100% certain that this is not a traditional occult symbol that you've ever seen.
Ooh.
I've never seen this.
Correct.
Oh,
What?
that seems
Ooh.
worse. I'm gonna look at it for a moment.
Can I also do that?
I'm not gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna point it out to you guys.
Oh, fair enough.
I
All
don't
right
know.
then.
I'm gonna keep that to myself. No, I don't. I don't see anything about Bethany or anything of too much
So
relation to this world.
you keep it to yourself, you said?
I think so. For
Okay.
now, I'm gonna keep it to myself.
Hmm. Interesting. Hmm. The of this world was rather suspicious to Patty personally, because she knows Gussie. They're sisters.
Sure.
Uh,
Make a
uh,
psychology check.
All right. We'll see if I can pull that off. I haven't done so far yet, but we'll find
I'll
out.
give you advantage.
Psychoanalyze me.
I'll give you advantage. Roll again.
Oh no.
Mm.
Oh,
You
Oh shit!
yeah.
I'm just like sweating. Nothing. I don't see anything.
So
Now
you
with
know-
advantage, do I still mark on that success or no?
if you haven't previously marked psychology, yes, you mark it.
I have. Oh, I did previously mark it. Never mind then.
Yeah. But yeah, so you don't know what it is, but she knows something. She found something. Something.
Hmm. Alrighty. I'll tuck that in my sleeve for a minute, cause you know, Gussie's a private person. She's worldly. She's been about. Maybe she's got a theory and hasn't tested it completely, or maybe she wants to keep something from the two folk who the two of us don't know quite so well. But Patty'll keep that in her pocket.
Should we try to get into his house? It's
mean-
stretch to call it a house at the moment.
I don't feel like we'll be able to gather very much else from his garden out here.
Yeah, you start looking around. You find the. So, Patty, you're generally kind of dressed nicely. Are you still in your, your dress and you've got the flapper type
Baseball
shoes
bat.
on and all that?
Well, I think for a venture out to a smaller town, Patty would have sort of downsized her look somewhat, sort of more like a fashionable but simple sort of summer dress and cloche hat, with a little sunflower on the side.
Is she still wearing open toe shoes?
Not open toe, no. I would say probably
All right.
gosh, yeah, just sort of basic flats, I would think.
All right, fair enough. So yeah, you're continuing to walk around the yard. You see that there's articles of clothing on a clothesline near a rusty wash tub, and some of the statues are, especially some of the angels, appear downright wicked. And as you're looking these things over, I need you to make a sanity check, because you're just like, they're giving you guys the willies.
All of us?
Yes.
Oh.
Ooh! Oh, succeed!
oh,
Oh no! Ooh, Avery! You saw something that reminded you of the war.
Ooh, I am okay. Okay. We're all good.
No!
Oh, no.
I
Yori!
got a critical failure.
That's all right.
Oh.
Both of you only lose one sanity. It's but you've got a really strong desire to leave the backyard.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's a shame. I
Do I have
was
to
gonna check out some stuff in the backyard.
But you do see that there's a work shed that you could go look at, as well as going into the house.
All right. These are some
I think
strange angels over here. I do not care for them.
it would be more comfortable for us to head back inside somewhere.
Well, there's a work shed over yonder that way, as well as the house here.
Yep.
Do we want to split ourselves up or stick together?
I mean, you guys could head inside. Patty and I could check out the shed. It's not
I think
that far
I should
apart.
check out this. I think we should all check out the shed.
I think we should stay together.
Reminder. This is a
He holds
horror
up his
game.
he holds up his cane
That's
and
fair.
says, I can't run and I don't care to.
That's fair.
So you go to the shed. The first thing you notice is that it is wired with electricity. When you open it, you see that there's actually a overhead light that can be turned on.
Will it turn on?
It does.
Astounding.
And
It's
what is within?
You see, there's a single bare light bulb hanging from the ceiling. Inside, you see a large, extremely large drill. There's a tabletop radio set.
Like a mechanized press drill or
Yes.
like a hand drill or
Yeah, a mechanized press drill. And if you'd had to bet, you'd guess that there's diamond-tipped bits there. There's
I'm not familiar with stuff like this, but this seems
there's a wheel
big for
grinder,
working.
and you can see that there are tiny flakes and chips of gray and white stone all over the floor.
I believe this might be where he sculpts his gravestones. Horrific gravestones.
So
Is
it would
anyone
seem.
else? Go ahead, Patty.
Oh, that was all. That was all I had. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is anyone else curious how there's a supposed missing girl and the suspect is in custody, but there's no body, but his front door is still locked?
Maybe they
Why
closed.
haven't the constables been here? Or have they been here?
I suppose we should have asked.
The constable
something
did
we-
tell you that he has not spent any time investigating
Mr. Harlan.
Mr. Harlan at all because he's been focused on helping find the missing girl.
Gosh, what if
Assuming that she's elsewhere.
she could just be in the house and they haven't even looked inside?
Well, it's certainly a line of questioning worth bringing up, but maybe Mr. Miller, not Mr. Miller, I'm sorry. Maybe Mr. Harlan keeps a spare key somewhere in his work shed here, and we could just let ourselves in.
Well,
Take
why
a
don't
look.
you guys look?
Yes. I'll rummage.
Rummage with that spot hidden?
No, I'm not gonna get a single one of
I
these spot
actually
hiddens.
failed.
I failed
Gussie!
bad. I failed
Gussie.
bad.
Come back.
Gussie!
Gussie with
Gussie coming in clutch.
Gussie for the win.
I'm in my element.
Yeah.
She is, honestly. This is what she was made for.
I'm here to look at weird shit. Tell me about this weird shit.
You notice two unusual. The first thing you notice that's really unusual to you is that there's a particular floorboard under the workbench that is completely clear of any of the stone chips.
All right.
And you also see tucked away in a drawer a workbook of some sort. And those are the two items that you're going, that's weird. And oh, look, here's a workbook.
All right. I am going to just a soft sigh, and I'm going to pick up the workbook. Also, a bit weird. Don't know if it's, I think it's check on it weird. Under the workbench, that board doesn't have any flakes of stone on it, if anybody wants to check that out. And I'm going to start looking at the book.
I'll give it a look, see? The floorboard down there.
So you get down on your hands and knees,
Yeah.
crawling around in the stone chips in your regular dress.
My little
Check
sundress.
for traps.
Yeah, in your
mean,
sundress.
yeah,
Boom!
Make me a luck check.
Oh boy!
Avery could tap at it.
Uh-oh. Your luck's down to 44. Wow. So, you actually, in kneeling down to go check this out, end up slicing open your knee a little bit and take a point of damage.
Oh, 1 point.
1 point from all of the really, really ridiculously sharp stones that you were doing.
Ow.
Now, having done that, you see that the board is loose, and you pop it open. You pop it up and find a small bag. Looks like it was cut from a flour sack. And you gonna pick it up?
Yeah, I'll fish that out of there. Real careful like.
It makes a little clinking sound as you pick it up.
All right. Does it sound like money clinky or like a jangly ring of keys clanky?
Definitely metal clinking on metal clanky.
Okie dokie. All right, I'll fish that out of there and kind of like show that to the party. Looky what I found.
Yeah.
Mr. Harlan was keeping something. Let's have a look-see.
So, Gussie, as you're going through the book, you see that it is old. It's been rifled through and used many, many, many times. Each page, as you're opening it up, it's a large portfolio-style book of different typefaces that you could chisel into stonework. It's, the entire alphabet in a different typeface. Many, many different ones. There's also handwritten sketches of various scroll work that could be added on to things. You see other ideas in there for types of statuary that you might be able to make. And then you also find a single piece of paper that's kind of just stuffed in the middle. And the only thing on this piece of paper is that triangle with the circle and branches curling off the side with the flaming eye in the center.
I close the book. Only thing in here seems to be some sketches, how he works.
Gussie's in denial. This just isn't something. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
It just seems to be his workbook, but I'll hold on to it.
Yeah. So
what's in the bag?
At that point, Patty's going, "Look, see what I found!" Clink, 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 clink.
Looks to be a little bag. Let's see what Mr. Harlan was keeping in here.
So you untie it. It's about the size of a grapefruit in total.
Okay. All right.
And
Not
you open
much.
it up, and in there you see several dozen bits of miscellaneous jewelry, rings and bracelets and necklaces and watches and earrings and tie clips and the like. Mixed in with the jewelry, there's some odd gold and silver bits. They're irregularly shaped and lumpy, broken points jutting out of a central hump. Everybody give me an idea roll.
An idea?
Yeah,
ID?
sorry. That's old world. Intelligence check.
Intelligence.
Intelligence.
Oh, I'm so smart.
Well, I failed.
I am also smart. Extreme success.
Oh,
We're extremely smart. I'm so sorry, Mr. Yori. You must not have
Fine.
expertise in this field.
Oh, this is actually a good one to fail.
Uh-oh.
boo!
Oh, no! Oh, we're gonna
Those of you-
die!
Oh,
Those
no.
of you that succeed, you're looking at him, and you come to realize that these are tooth fillings taken from someone. Various someones. That you are holding the tooth fillings of probably dead people.
He's grave robbing.
So those of you that
What?
succeeded,
Probably defeat his alcoholism.
those
if I
of you
had to
that
guess.
made your intelligence checks lose 2 sanity points as you realize you're holding dead people's...
I'm not holding
Elf,
it.
please take my bag, please. Somebody
So-
else take the bag.
Yori,
Oh, I'll take it.
yeah, you're...
I'll grab the bag.
You haven't put the 2 and 2 together yet.
Yes.
Thank goodness.
Oh,
Must
God.
be some metallic ingots.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Yep.
Would anyone like to go check out the house?
Yeah, let's go check out the house.
Yeah, I'm sure he just uses those for inlays and filigrees on his stoneworks.
Well, that or he uses it to feed his alcohol problem. I can't tell which, but
He's a nasty man who became a nasty animal. Can we get inside? I need to get out of here.
okay.
I'll keep the bag of ingots.
I'll keep the book with me. I'm just gonna put that.
Yeah, that can't possibly be anything.
That's staying
So
with me.
the
then.
back door is open, is unlocked.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, so you go into into the room. The kitchen has nothing but you see mason jars that are empty. You can smell the alcohol residue on them.
Ooh. Oh, that is awful.
You are 100% certain that there was definitely moonshine in these at one point.
Yeah. Definitely moonshine in these. Oh. Good
Yeah.
lord.
Could have brewed
Oh,
that
he
better.
needs to find a better brewer.
Yeah, so there's an eating kitchen. You find some canned goods on the shelf. There's a loaf of really hard, dry bread on his table. The
Does it
sink-
look like the table was spread for a meal and left out? Or does it look like it was, mostly cleared?
The only thing on it is that loaf of bread. The sink has a hand pump on it. There's a wood fire stove in the corner of the kitchen. You can see a cast iron skillet sitting on top of the stove.
Is there anything in the cast iron skillet? Or is it just empty?
It looks like the dried remains of probably stew.
Ugh. Ugh. Seems like he was preparing something when he had to depart. I'm not so sure it was planned.
And there's a door to the front room. Well, actually, just a doorway, archway. It's not even a door. In the front room, you can see that there's a bed, a rocking chair, a small table set against the wall, and there's a stack of peach crates stacked 4 high next to a fireplace. You can see papers sticking through the slats in the crates.
Peach crates.
Yep, peach crates. The man apparently liked peach.
And they're full of papers?
Yep, you can see them just sticking out of the various holes in the slats and stuff.
I am looking for that symbol. I am trying to see if it's anywhere else in this house.
All right, make a spot hidden check.
I wish I was better at that.
Can I rummage through some of these papers, just kind of see if there's any general
Wow.
indication of
Wow.
nonsense or tomfoolery? Holy!
We get our first.
A is for Gussie.
Oh,
Identity.
boy!
I don't even want it.
We get our first one of the game.
Wowie.
One, baby.
Right?
Oh, wow.
Wow, look at that.
It all.
So, You are absolutely certain that that symbol is not written anywhere inside these 2 rooms of this house.
Good. I feel safe.
I'm
100%
kind of
certain.
Anything else interesting?
So you're
What
rummaging through
kinds
the
of
papers. You see that it's a hodgepodge of business receipts, orders from various churches throughout communities in the areas, from cemeteries and funeral homes for sculpture commissions. The date ranges you see end about 12 years ago. Intermixed in the papers, you see there's hundreds of design sketches done in pencils, pastels, and charcoal of the same kinds of designs, not nearly as grotesque as the stuff out in the yard. Some of them are labeled as saints, others are labeled as religious monuments. You even see a few that are meant as mausoleum designs. And
These
then there's
look
some
fine.
You see in between the peach crates and the bed some earthenware jugs that also strongly reek of moonshine.
Ugh. Is there any left in any of them?
There's a little bit left.
No.
I'm not gonna drink any.
No.
Ew,
Is he
no.
perhaps making a peach wine?
Ooh.
I wonder.
A man of class, I suppose.
I don't see any distillery equipment here, just the jugs.
Unless he has a cellar.
Well, is
With that
there a cellar?
one, with your nat 1, you know there is nothing hidden in this house that you haven't seen.
I've seen it all. Can I go unlock the front door?
Yes, you can.
Perfect. Unlock that. 2 ways out of the house.
That's good.
I don't think we're going to find anything else in here.
I suppose not.
It seems this is the sane part of the house, and it's sad that the sane part is full of a bunch of moonshine. But this seems to be the sanest place on the grounds.
Yes.
You guys can give me either a listen check or spot hidden, whichever is your better skill.
Oh no.
I don't
Listen is better for me,
All right.
personally.
spot hidden. Okay.
Oh,
Aw,
I'm gonna do listen.
Good.
Oh.
damn it.
So, Avery, you happen to be glancing out the front window when you see the police vehicle for the town roll up in front of the house.
Whoops.
No. The cavalry's here.
Well, that's good. Maybe they're here to actually do their job.
Should we be inside the house of a man who is in the jail for murder?
I told him we were going to go do that.
We did.
Did
It
we
should
mention
be
we were
fine.
going to go inside the house?
I said I was going to go into his house if
Gussie
that was
and
fine.
Avery, you were
All
both
right, then.
present when the constable gave you permission to be doing this.
Constable said I could, therefore I will. They can arrest me. We have a good lawyer.
Well,
so
you're right.
Avery, you see a different individual, also dressed as law enforcement, get out of the vehicle.
Anyone I recognize, though, or just a just a stranger?
Your guess is it's the deputy. You didn't actually meet him yet.
Deputy
Right,
Amos Pitts.
And
Amos Pitts.
yeah, so he gets
Wonder if he
out
has
of the
that.
vehicle and walks up to the front door, and you can see he reaches down to the door, and at this point, he opens the door. You're not surprised. The rest of you are kind of doing your thing, and the deputy speaks up and he says, "Well, good. I'm glad you're here. Constable suggested y'all might be here. He'd really appreciate your help back at the jail."
Has something
What's-
developed with Mr. Harlan?
Yes, what's wrong?
Well, it appears that they found Bethany's body out in the woods, and there's a bunch of folks at the jail right now riled up, and they kind of want to take the law into their own hands. And the sheriff's there holding them off. He promised them that we had specialists coming in all the way from Arkham to work on this and figure things out, and he just wants you there to so that folks can see that we really are doing that.
Sure, of course.
Right.
We can't have anybody taking the law into their own hands with Mr. Harlan anytime soon, at the very least.
I appreciate that, folks. If we could go back to the jail, that'd be wonderful.
Of course. Let's go.
Right
Yeah.
away.
I think
Let's
we're
go.
pretty much done here anyway. Let's go on.
So, with that, we are going to end this here tonight.
All right. Oh boy.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's Saturday. We can go double time, right?
Double the
22.
time. I don't care if I have to work tomorrow morning at 8. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Well, folks, I
Fine.
hope
What's
you're
a little
enjoying...
sanity damage?
That's right. I hope you're enjoying Call of Cthulhu: The 11th Hour. I think my players are like, what is this sanity thing? We keep losing it. Yeah. Eventually, I'll put you in an
Ooh.
institution in this game. So, so Monday, come join us for Jillian's wonderful On the Backs of God game. It is a fabulous D&D campaign. She might actually start requiring sanity checks on her game the way she's talking to these people. I don't know.
Honestly,
You're not kidding.
Yep.
If y'all haven't seen last week's episode, you would have thought it was a Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saturday on a
And,
Monday.
on Wednesdays, we have the Legends. I'm sorry, not the Legends. The Fertile Land of Nari by Roll Incorporated. It's also a wonderful show. 7 o'clock Central on Monday, 8 o'clock Central on Wednesday. Check us out, folks. Thank you much, and have a great night.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night, all.